Hey everyone, it's Kirk McLean here, and you're watching Clay's Canucks Commentary.
Hey Canucks fans, and welcome to Clay's Canucks Commentary Live, presented to you by Van City Experts Real Estate. I'm your host, Clay Emo Canuck Clay, and this is my Canucks take, all in one take for Tuesday night, August the 26th. If you're new, here's what you should do. Hit the subscribe button now for daily Canucks insight that's positive, timely, and trustworthy. By the way, I just realized, did I forget to put the comments on the screen on Sunday? I just realized that I don't remember pressing the button. So let me know in the comments if you actually remember whether or not I had the comments on stream on Sunday. I don't think I did, but that's okay. Hope you're doing well. Moderators, do what you need to do to keep this a safe and respectful place. Members, that's legends, Hall of Fame and franchise members, thank you for your support. And to everyone else, no matter where you're watching from, with my beautiful neighborhood of Steveston and Richmond, in the city, Lower Mainland, province, country, continent, around the world, thank you for being here. You know that I know that you could be doing anything else, watching anyone else, getting ready for work, school, or bed, or all three. But the fact that you are here with me, know how much I always appreciate you and how much I never, ever, ever, ever take you for granted. So this is how you can get involved tonight. You can subscribe, get active in the chat session, get notified of videos. You can like the video, like the fact that we're together, like the fact that we're inching closer to training camp, and that means we're inching closer to Canucks season. Like the fact that I golfed again today. I did much better than my Kamloops trip. Made a couple of tweaks to my game. Was still the worst one of our foursome. It was me, Sean, Jacob, and Sean's fiance's father. So Sean's future father-in-law, Peter, and it was a good time. But I was the worst of the four of us, but was actually better than I was all weekend. You can leave a donation, get the donation train out of the station. You can gift a membership, buy your own membership, upgrade your membership, use your monthly membership message. And if listening on a podcast platform, make sure you rate and review. Now, before I came on the stream and before the comments picked it up, Swervin Irvin left a $5 donation. And he says, happy birthday to my beautiful wife, Jamie. I love you so much. That is awesome. That is awesome. Can someone help Gary out in the chat, please? That is awesome. I'm not sure if Jamie's going to see this message because, I don't know if Jamie watches the streams. But if you do, Jamie, you sound awesome. You must be awesome if you're married to Irvin. And I mean that as a compliment. That came out the wrong way. But you know what I mean. And thank you for letting Irvin come onto these streams as well. So let's give some love to Swervin Irvin. I can't show you. I can just tell you that he got the donation out of the donation train out of the station with a $5 donation, and for that he gets the bedroom window. So thank you once again, Swervin Irvin, for the $5 donation, and please greet your lovely wife, Jamie, happy birthday. Swervin Irvin also says, we can also hype the video to boost the algorithm. Yeah. Irvin sent me a message where, I don't know if it's on Android or iPhone, mobile, desktop, where you can hype a video, you can boost a video and then get it across different algorithms and different in front of different eyeballs. So thank you, Irvin, for figuring that out as well. Fangirl's trying to help Gary. Say, Gary, go to the membership page on his channel and then choose your level of membership. That is a very, very simple and concise way of putting it. Yeah, that's true. You just go to, actually, right underneath my video, you should see a button that says join, and then you can press that, and then all the different membership levels will come up. And Irvin says it might be on replays of streams. Okay, we will figure that out, just as we figured out the leaderboard as we went. And speaking of which, Swervin Irvin is atop that leaderboard with 850 points, followed very closely by Fangirl at 825, and then Skytrain Alfred rounds out the top three at 375 points. So thanks to all of you for continuing to push each other on that fictional leaderboard. Gary says, can't see it on your phone. I'll try on my computer later. Yeah, I'm looking at computer and I can see it here. So maybe that's what it takes to do. But yeah, we'd love to have you as a member, Gary, especially because we're having the members live stream tomorrow. So I had a good day at work, and yes, went golfing. As I mentioned, played Langara today. And Sean was interesting. He had a not so great first front nine by his standards, but then he played awesome on the back nine. He only went 3 over, and that included an eagle. Yes, he good drive in the middle of the fairway, and then he chipped it in from 100 yards in, and it went straight into the cup, which was pretty exciting. I've never seen Sean do that before. So he shot an 88. Peter, who's Cheska's father, shot a 94. Jake shot a 102, and I shot a 106. But Sean gave Jacob 15 strokes, gave me 18 strokes, 88 to 106. So that's me and Sean tied then. And then Jacob beat Sean by 14. Sean beat Jake by 14, not by 15. So Jacob actually beat us by a stroke when you put in handicap. So it was awesome. Shannon's also saying it's easier on the laptop. Thank you, Shannon, for that. And Irvin is saying computer is the best way. Also, I recommend Hall of Fame if you want to join the member Zooms. Lots of fun. So Swerve and Irvin, I should give Swerve and Irvin a commission for recruiting more Hall of Fame members. Today, I'm going to talk about a topic that Swerve and Irvin actually brought up to me in the members Ask Me Anything. But before we do that, I want to recognize a nice donation from Justin.
3, 2, 1.
Justin says, dono to Irvin's wife for her birthday. Maybe with enough, Irvin can give her a birthday present from the CCC community. May your relationship continue to flourish as you celebrate together. Happy birthday. So that is awesome. So let's give some love to Justin, Hall of Fame member Justin Credible. So I'm not sure, Justin, am I supposed to give this $10 to Irvin? And if so, then next time just give it directly to Irvin. Or am I supposed to, you let me know what I'm supposed to do with this, and I'll make sure that I do something with it. So let's give some love to Justin for sure. Although, Swervin says, I already got her a shiny, nice gift. Ooh, care to share? Or maybe you haven't given it to her yet and we just all wrecked the surprise. And Gerald says, happy birthday to Swervin's wife. Fangirl says, I enjoy being a member. Yes, I enjoy you being a member, Fangirl. And Justin, Tyler says, Justin, mic drop. And Robbie says, is a secret. I think it's okay, right? Jamie doesn't watch these streams. Maybe she does. That's even better. So Irvin asked me, what does that mean? It was an Apple Watch. Nice. What a nice gift. That is pretty cool. So let's give some love to Swerve and Irvin for being, generous. That's awesome. So members Ask Me Anything. I always post on Saturday morning. I say on my channel, hey members, send me some questions for the Ask Me Anything video. And then I will record that video sometime on Monday, definitely by the end of Monday night. And this week, Irvin, there are some really good questions, but one of them Irvin asked, which decade, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010, 2020s, do you think has been the Canucks' best? And he goes, there's been a lot of joy and pain in each of those decades. And I thought that was an excellent question. So I won't give away my answer just yet. I answered it in about 5 minutes. Irvin, let me know. Anyone who watched the members Ask Me Anything will know what my answer is already. And I hope, I'd love to know before I start doing it here, if you guys thought my answer made sense and if you thought it was it doesn't have to be the same answer that you would give, but at least let me know if you thought it was a thoughtful answer. You probably can guess maybe from the who I used in my thumbnail. But yes, I will talk about each of the 6 decades right now, and because the team's been around for 55 years, so six decades makes sense, or at least on our 6th decade. And you guys can vote in the chat as well which decade you think is the best. Okay, Canucks come into existence in the 1970s, and right away if you know the history, they lost basically a lottery. They came in the same year as the Buffalo Sabres. They lost a lottery pick where Buffalo actually won the coin toss or whatever, the coin flip, and they got to pick Gilbert Perreault, who was a very good player, especially as a first pick overall. And I can't remember, did we end up with Don Lee? Who did we end up with? We ended up with someone that wasn't Gilbert Perreault. Let's put it that's to put it nicely. Robbie says it went down to 2 decades. The right question might be, what was your favorite decade? Because 2010s was the most successful decade by a few metrics. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, best decade, favorite decade, maybe most successful decade. I don't know. Yeah, they're definitely different ways that you can look at it. No, it wasn't Tippett. You know, I have it right here. I should have it right here in Ed Willis's book. Never boring. And it must be in the chapter about the draft. Yeah, what if the carnival wheel had landed on the Canucks number? So let's just confirm. Yeah, Gilbert Perreault. And then we got Dale Talon, not Dave Tippett. It was Dale Talon. That's who it was. Okay. There we go. Swervin Irvin, Dale Talon, second overall. 1990s, when I became a fan, the yet to come decade. And then Shannon says, so I went to my cardiologist doctor this morning, had me prescribed nitro spray for when I get chest pains. Okay, that's good. That's a good thing, right? So let me talk about this for a few minutes, then I'll throw it to you before the mid-show sponsor read. 70s, not a lot of success, as some some expansion teams don't often have a lot of success right at the start. We lost that first carnival wheel spin. We got Dale Talon. They got Gilbert Perreault. And it was a tough start to the franchise. So I didn't put the 70s as one of the options in the chat, in the poll, but you do have to start somewhere. 80s. So 80s, the team did go to the Stanley Cup Finals. They got swept by the New York Islanders when the Islanders were in the middle of their dynasty. But, Richard Brodeur and Stan Smyl, Thomas Credine, Ivan Bodarev, Patrick Sundstrom, players like that. Pretty good. And Flying V. So a lot of memories from the 80s. And so that's an option if you want to vote for the 80s, because it was our first trip to the Stanley Cup Finals. And really some meat and potatoes, heart and soul players, Stan Smyl, like I said. So a lot of people, that's when they became Canucks fans. Skytrain Alfred with the $20 donation. Let's give Skytrain Alfred some love in the chat.
And he got it!
Huge donation from Alfred. Says, I'm mixed with the 2000s and 2010s. Yes, we made the Cup final in 2011, but I'm sure the hype of the Vancouver Canucks was definitely in the 90s, even though I'm only born in 95. So let's give some love to Skytrain Alfred, not only because he's just 30 years old, but for, more importantly, the $20 donation. So let's get to those 90s. So 80s were okay, first Stanley Cup. 90s, obviously, we get the Stanley Cup final against the Rangers in 1994, took them to Game 7. We had Trevor Linden. We had Kirk McLean. We had Pavel Bure. We had Jeff Courtnall, Jyrki Lumier. So many great players, so many memorable players. Cliff Ronning on the way to that memorable Stanley Cup run. Yeah, Pavel Bure, probably the most exciting player we've ever had. And we had, I just think that the hype of the 90s, especially with Bure, Linden, and that Stanley Cup final where we thought we had a chance to knock down the big bad Rangers, I think that is certainly up there in contention for one of the best decades. 2000s is interesting because there was that upset where we should have beat Minnesota and faced Anaheim in the conference final. We drafted the Sedins. No, we drafted the Sedins in 99, if I'm not mistaken, not 2000. And then the Canucks were pretty good. West Coast Express, of course. The Sedins starting to get better. and then making it the playoffs quite a bit in the late 2000s, 2008 and 9 and 10, though, being displaced from the playoffs by the Chicago Blackhawks. So I'm not sure if 2000 had the most success on the ice, but there were certain elements. I think that was when the Mark Messier experiment happened as well. So a lot going on in the 2000s. We got Roberto Luongo, but not a lot of on-ice success because we kept losing to the Chicago Blackhawks. Then the 2010s, of course, President's Trophy in 2011, 2012. We have the Stanley Cup run in 2011. We have Henrik and Daniel and Luongo winning awards. At least Henrik and Daniel. I can't remember if Luongo won a major award. 2010 Olympics, although that doesn't count. So, and then near the end of that day, although after that, we 11, then 12, 13, we bounced in the first round, no playoffs, 14, playoffs in the 2015, and then no playoffs again until past 2019. We did, however, draft Horvat. We drafted Besser. We drafted Demko. We drafted Pettersson. We drafted Hughes. That all happened in the 2010s. So, and of course the Stanley Cup run. So I put that up there as well. And then for the 2020s, we're only halfway through. And yes, we had that great bubble run in 2020. We had the nice playoff run 2 years ago. We have Quinn Hughes quickly becoming one of the top 5 players in the entire league. But there's not a lot of on-ice success. And we all know how crazy last season was. So Irvin made a good point, even though he was the one that spurred this conversation. It really depends. Is your criteria most successful? Then you say 2010s in terms of stats and records and drafting. Is it the most excitement, the closest to winning? You'd argue then the 1994 team, and then the star power of Bure, Linden, and McLean, and the memorable playoff series, especially against Calgary coming back. And then, so I take away the 2020s because we're only halfway through. I take away the 1970s because not a lot of success. Then you're down to the 4 middle ones, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s. I take out the 80s, even though they had their Stanley Cup run, because that was a bit more of a fluke. And I take away the 2000s because there wasn't a Stanley Cup final. And although there were some certainly positives from the 2000s for sure, but also home of the Mark Messier era. So then I break it down. I drop it to the 90s versus the 2010s. Both decade featured a Game 7 loss in the Stanley Cup final. Both had star power, Bure and Linden in the 90s, and then the Sedins, of course, and Luongo in the 2010s. Some good drafting in the 2010s, but I just think of the golden era of the Canucks. And, it's easy for me to lean towards the 2010s because I was vlogging by then. My YouTube channel started. I was a season ticket holder. But I don't know. I think in my Ask Me Anything, I said that the 90s were a better decade. But I think it was close because they were very similar. So I think if you go 90s or 2010s, I think those are the two, at least, decades for me that kind of stand out to me. So let's see what you guys said in the poll. I will end it right now. And you guys said, oh, it's close. It is close. 50% of you said the 2010s, 33% of you said the 1990s, 16% of you said the 2000s, and 0% of you said the 1980s. So you guys also, your top two were the 2010s and the 1990s. Yeah, I don't think you can go wrong with either pick. 2010 seems more recent. 1990s was more for us old school. And I'd be fine with either of those. But I think I took the 90s in my Ask Me Anything video. So let's do your thoughts for the next 10 minutes. Which decade do you think is the best? Which decade stands out to you the most successful, however you want to put it. And I'll kind of read comments read comments on everything, but if we can focus on that question, that would be awesome. Which Canucks decade do you think is the best, using whatever metrics that you want to? What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Which decade was the best and why? In the meantime, Simon says, who's your favorite general manager of all time? I like Pat Quinn. I thought he was outstanding. Justin says, maybe the 2030s when Bedard and Celebrini come home to join McKenna. That's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. Bubble playoffs was kind of fun, but sucked in a way. That's true. You guys talk about Alzheimer's, that loved one who passed in 2020. Very sad. Crad is here. I can't wait for hockey to be back. For me, it's the 2010s. First Canucks decade I can remember. That's fair. Swerve and Irvin. Look at this. A $20.11 donation. I gave him the window already, so let's give the slap.
Hard.
So shout out to Swerve and Irvin. $20.11, 2011. I argue the 2010s were the most successful. 1 finals appearance, 2 President's trophies, 2 Art Ross, 1 Hart, 1 Selke, 1 Jennings, and 1 Calder. Yes, you can't argue with any of those. So I will say that's a great point, Swerve and Irvin, and not just because you donated $20. So let's give some love to Swerve and Irvin in the chat for the very, very generous donation. 2010, because I was only old enough to remember what was actually going on. That's fair. The 2010s started off with the peak Canucks and then regressed year by year. Yeah, small bump mid-2010s, but regressed into the 2020s. 1990s, met Pavel Bure, met Bure at Fogenstad's on Broadway. Got his autograph. Oh, that's pretty sick, Angela. That's awesome. I think the votes came in at the 2010s because most of the viewers weren't born yet. Yeah, that's my next poll question is what decade were you born? 2010s for me because I went to my first game in 2017. 2024 was super fun. Almost made it 3rd round. Indeed. Indeed. This whole argument kind of highlights our lack of franchise success. Sad, but true. Clay, was the 94 finals or 2011 finals more memorable for you? SK, that's a great question. The 2011 I remember more vividly because I was at the game, Game 7. I was excited to see them win their first cup. I was vlogging by that time. So I think the 2011 was more memorable for better or for worse. It is kind of depressing when you think of the lack of success. 2010s, probably the best, but 2011 scarred us, that's for sure. Since I was a Canucks fan since 2008, I can only say the 2010s, but I do feel the 90s had more hype. 2010s, we had high expectations from the final. That's fair. I think that might have to be when Jeff Courtnall and others. Can't remember. Yes, that would be the 90s for sure. For sure, Shannon. Jeff Courtnall was around in the 90s. The way you pronounce Bure. What am I supposed to say, Gerby? Tell me how to pronounce it. I always say Pavel Bure. That's how I say it. It's just easier. Born in 1970, 97, 69. Best decade for jerseys was the 70s. The original stick and rink in the Flying V. I think the Flying V was the 80s, right? Or was it the 70s? 94. 2000s. Messier era just ended. West Coast Express begun a 4 straight playoff experience. Then after lockout, 3 more player experiences in that decade, some divisional battle. That is true, but no big playoff success. That's the one thing, Ricky, that's the one thing that I look at. Bure. Yeah, I say Bure. That's true. Flying V came in 1978. I did not know that. Thank you, Swerve and Irvin. I stand to be corrected on a lot of things. How I pronounce the Russian rocket's name, what year the Flying V came in. I have no problem being corrected. I honestly want to say 2000 because of the West Coast Express, beginning the Sedin's careers, and then the massive Longo trade. Yeah, that's fair too. I just, again, at least not a lot of on-ice playoff success. Vancouver back in the day in the 90s because they didn't have the players now that they have before. Sorry, Simon, I can't give you. I don't understand what you're asking me there. Gerby, you pronounce it however you want. Flying V was pretty ugly. Like Star Trek, I thought it was okay. 2011 Cup run was more memorable because of us being favorites, the media coverage and presence of social media compared to 94, the underdog from Cinderella run that seemed to be more of legend and folklore. That is a good way of putting it. Jack Malcolm Hargy on the Flying V. Last year we played like clowns. This year we'll look like clowns. I did not know he said that. 2026 is the Canucks year. Pettersson will score 55 goals. I'll take it. It's a crime the West Coast Express and Sedin twin eras were a tad too late to merge. Yes. That would have been a huge top 6, right? That'd be amazing. Steve Moore incident, was that 2004? And the lockout? Good point. Today it is Orange Crush, Shannon. It's Orange Crush today. Sustained playoff success is important. Breakthroughs are weighted more. I remember you factoring draft picks in your original ranking. The AMA, however, just based on playoff success is different. Robbie, great point. Robbie, by the way, did I answer your question? Not the way, I shouldn't say the way you wanted me to answer. That's not what you're looking for. I'm looking for. But did I even answer your question properly? It's unfortunate no playoff success during the West Coast Express. Those teams were pretty good. The Crawford era, and also because Linda was part of the 2000s and they returned to mentor the Sedins. Good point, Gerald. Although the Torch year was a black eye in the 2010, that was not the best. That's for sure. Thankfully, it was only one season. Him trying to beat up the whole Calgary team in the dressing room. Pretty crazy. The Sedins benefit from having Swedes around like Klatt and Naslund. Klatt was not Swedish, Trent, but Marcus Naslund definitely Swedish for sure. What was Trent Klatt? Isn't Trent Klatt from Canada? Let me look. Trent Klatt. Yeah, American. How would you grade the Canucks 2020 so far now that we have passed the midway point? Not great. 2 playoff appearances only, and one was the bubble. And then to have, the Boudreau years were fun, but a bit of a mess. So I don't think the 2020s have been great. And I'm not sure if they're going to get much better, to be honest with you. Irvin grades it as an oof. We don't talk about Tortorella. Well, he's only here 1 year. Yes, Klatt is American. West Coast Express relying on Kluche reminds me of McDavid and Draisaitl relying on Skinner. That's a good point. Walter Sedin called up to go to U8 Canada. I saw that. That's pretty impressive. I think he's Kayla's age. John Tortilla. Never a great fit. Yes, for sure. Oh, thank you, Tyler. Thank you, Robbie. I left a reply on the question. My definition of grown adult is more along the lines of being 50-year-old. Oh, how was I supposed to know that? I would hope by the time you turn 50, you have something to be proud of about you. Oh, didn't take me to be 50. The Canucks Negativity Club. Yeah, what's the opposite of the good-looking Canucks Positivity Club? The bad-looking Canucks Negativity Club. So the BLCNC. At least we get to watch Quinn. Benning. 2011 Kessler was a beast indeed. Let me go to my mid-show sponsor read, and then we will continue with your questions and comments. I will start off by thanking my primary sponsor, Jason Lim of Van City Experts. Thank you to my channel sponsor, Jason Lim of Van City Experts Real Estate. At Van City Experts, their experience, knowledge, and expertise can serve you well in navigating through the real estate market and will help you to choose the best home or condo in the greater Vancouver area that best suits your and your family's needs. Thank you to my secondary sponsors, Coach Patrick Liu, weight loss coach. Check him out at coachpatrickliu.com/clay. Receive a free 5-day workout. Gassy Jack Art, creator of this wonderful artwork you see behind me, gassyjackart.com. Make sure you check him out. Vessi Footwear, use the link tinyurl.com/vessyclay. And receive a free pair of socks for your next purchase of Vessi shoes. Thanks to everyone who's purchased Canuck Clay merch. You can do so at canuckclay.threadless.com. Reminder that this week, my shows, I had Sunday, I had today, and now my only remaining show this week will be tomorrow night, and it will be Members Open House. So tomorrow night, Members Open House at 11 p.m., and I have no show on Sunday night because I won't be in town until Monday night. So tonight is the last general live stream for a week, and then we'll have a members show tomorrow night at 11. Don't forget, you can get involved by subscribing, liking the video, leaving a donation, gifting a membership. buying your own membership, upgrading your own membership, using your monthly membership message. And if you're listening on a podcast platform, you can rate and review. And right now, Swervin' Irvin now is smoking everyone because of his donations. He's at 1,650 experience points, 1,650. Then we have Skytrain Alfred 1125, and then Fangirl at 900. Okay, we'll get to a bit more of your comments. I might not go for the full hour today, even though I don't have to get to my church till 12. Got to take care of a couple things. I'm really not feeling the best. I don't know if there's a lot of sun, right? Wednesday through Saturday, and then tonight as well. I'm feeling a little bit tired, but let me go for about 10 to 15 minutes more for sure. All right, so we're a bit of talk about Benning. Benning did draft well. Yeah, I agree. His drafting was fine. It's more his free agent signings that weren't great. Simon likes the 90s because this is where we played in the stadium. Oh, the Pacific Coliseum. Yeah, it's actually smaller than Rogers Arena, but definitely had some appeal for sure. Yes, Benning doesn't talk a lot for sure. Missed a couple great picks for us and bad deals. For Tannen Ulevi, yeah, those were not his best draft picks. Irvin should have asked what his what was their Mount Rushmore? Huh? No Sunday stream because I will be watching Bruno Mars on Sunday night. No, Tyler, no Sunday stream, as I just mentioned. To be fair, the 2019 to 2011 team, I think you mean the 2009 to 2011 team, was stacked. Luongo, Sedins, Kessler, Bros, Bieksa, Edler, Adam Salo, Ehrhoff, and the hometown Hamhuis. The best would be late 2000s to the 2012s. That's fair. That straddles 2 decades. Hey, cats and rats. The sun made me tired. Oh, yes. I think Kayla and Jacob's girlfriend, Michelle, went to the Aritzia sale this morning as well. Was that this morning already? Was that yesterday morning? That was this morning, wasn't it? No. Now I'm so confused. No, wasn't it yesterday morning? When was the Aritzia sale? Yes. Jacob, when was the Aritzia sale? Huh? Someone tell me in the chat. The sin can definitely make you sick. Yes, and the sun can too, but sin can definitely make you sick. Do you think Mike Gillis ever gets an NHL GM or assistant GM job again? I don't think so, Justin. I liked him, actually. I liked how proactive he was, how out of the box thinking he was. But if he hasn't had a job by now, I'm not sure if he is going to get one. I mean, he's had stuff, but I don't know recently, right? I feel like Benning gets too much credit for the greatness of P.D. Besser and Hughes. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Missed out on Kachuk Pasternak. Don't remind us. Post if you make the Bruno Mars. I'm staying away from every type of kiss cam. I forgot there's no young stars this year, so the wait for us to see Canucks hockey is longer. Yeah, that's true. Other than those four in Demko, he drafted a lot of duds. That's fair. You deserve another break. Work too hard for us. Well, it's not. It is hard work, but I enjoy it. Who would be on Canucks Mount Rushmore for each decade that you mentioned from today's poll? Oh, wow. The 70s, I just don't know enough about their players. The 80s, I'd put Richard Brodeur on there. I'd put maybe Smeal, Gradine, and Tanti, maybe. For the 90s, got to be Bure, Linden, McLean. And do you put a defenseman on there, like a Lume or someone like that? 2000s, you could put save the Sedin. So maybe for the true 2000s, do you put the entire West Coast Express on there? Yeah, I don't know. We had some good players in 2000s. Oland, maybe there. Then the 2010s, you got to go Luongo, Sedins, and I guess if you want to say PD and Hughes, you could go Kessler maybe. And then for the 2020s, I think you go, gosh, do you go Hughes, Pedersen, Miller, and then Horvat or Demko? Yeah. Great question, Alfred. Favorite scene from Happy Gilmore 2? Mine was the restaurant scene. That's a good question. Happy Gilmore 2. I just thought the show was okay. I did get a kick out of, yeah. Oh, I know you like Travis Kelce, I'm sure. I don't know. I thought some of the, not the Alcoholics Anonymous, but whenever Ben Stiller was in, I thought those are pretty funny. Yesterday was friends and family, and today was open to general public. Is that, what are we talking about here? What are we talking about here? Is that the basketball? Oh, sorry. That was, I thought you were talking about the pre-sale. You're talking about Aritzia. That makes sense. Nothing is perfect. We'll do a watch along for the Canucks versus Kraken. Good. Yes, Gerald, I am flying WestJet to Vegas, but I heard that the air traffic controllers were slow to get in today. I'm shocked that Gillis hasn't been hired. Yuki Lume, yeah, I love Lume. Ronnie was good. Yeah, of course, Ronnie was good. Ronnie, Courtney, Momesso, all those guys. How long did it take you to know Gil was the one? Ooh, that's a good question. You know, some people find it shocking when I say I still don't know if she was the one. Like, how do you know for sure? I have faith in God that he led me to her and put Gil in my life for a reason. But when was I convinced that she was the one? Maybe not till we got engaged, because so many things can happen, right? Good question, though. Well, you won't hear great things from me. I just thought it was okay. Hey, Dino. Nice to see you. Aritzia sale started this morning. Thank you, Brian Blingy Choi. When can we start talking about the decline of this core starting because of the Horvat one? Well, you can talk about it any time, but you're right. It was Horvat and then, well, who else do you call the core? Miller? You still have Besser, Demko, Hughes, and Petey. The Bad Bunny, yeah, that's true. A lot of cameos. Can you blame Horvat for wanting out? Canucks Kraken prospect game. Yeah, is that one of the preseason ones? Or no? Maybe web stream only. That would make a lot of sense. Do you think with the Taylor Swift engagement news breaking the internet that their wedding will be as high profile as the modern day royal wedding? Yeah, I think in different ways it will be. Yeah, you know, it's funny. I actually, maybe it's who I follow, or maybe it's because I wasn't on social a lot today. I actually did not see a lot of Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce stuff, to be honest with you. I really didn't. Although I did see one funny meme that it says Travis Kelce's groomsman, and it was a picture of 4 referees. I thought that was pretty funny. What was your favorite jersey? I love the flying skates, the black one, and that's why I have the Quinn Hughes 50th one. Gym teacher and English teacher. What was that the answer to now? Besser might have to crack this decade. Mount Rossmer for you with resigning. Good chance one of Hughes, PD don't stick around. Hey, you trying to make me sad, cats and rats? PD's got a no move. And all eyes on Hughes for sure. Do you think Horvat and his team will do well or finish last? I don't know if they'll finish last, but I don't peg them as a playoff team. Natty. Thoughts on Becky Lynch promo line on Ozzy Osbourne? I did not hear that one. I didn't watch the whole thing. Love story. She said yes. New Heights poked fun putting Jason in the pick. Oh, interesting. Henrik, son will be on the ice. No, I think, Shannon, that they were talking about Henrik making the Canadian under 18 soccer team, not hockey, soccer. No, did not have KC Chiefs colorway on the referee uniforms. Oh, it's on the 13th. May. Oh, that's good. That's good. No need to apologize. I probably won't watch it. Has PWHL single game tickets been released or just season ticket members? Good question. What do people know? What do people know in here? BX's son with the Giants. I did not try to get Raptors Nuggets tickets. I'm not interested. Why does Besser wear a defender's number? Why single digit? I don't know. Is that a thing anymore? Are there other forwards that wear six? Actually, now I think about a lot of the guys that wear six are defensemen. That's an interesting question. What else we got, guys? And I think I'm just not feeling it today. I can be honest with you, right? And you guys have been fine. You guys have been very generous, actually. But I think I just got to rest for an hour before I go to my prayer hour. So going to wrap this up in the next 5 minutes. How likely is it that Vancouver gets an NBA team again? Vancouver, I don't think it's very likely. I think there are other cities, franchises that would be ahead of them. Who becomes a bigger star, Colby Exa or Velter Sedin? I don't know. I think the Sedin name carries a bit more, right? Let's go with Velter. If I played hockey, I would wear probably number 8. It's my favorite number. Gail and I were married on July 8. 8's a lucky number in Chinese. I just like it. Symmetrical, easy. If I had to pick a second number, probably 6 or 22, because those are my birthday, June 22nd, and I'm selfish, and that's all about me. I think Besser wears 6 because of his dad. The Islanders will finish with less than 80 points. Wow, that's bold. Nothing is perfect. Say his name, and he appears. I believe in Russell. Welcome, Russell. Let's give you... We've seen the slap. We've seen the... we haven't seen the save tonight, so Russell, this is for you. I wear 35 as a forward. That is amazing. Got it as a kid before I found out it was a goalie number. That is, yeah, a lot of goalies, 30, 31, 35. That's awesome. That's awesome. Nice to see you, Russell. Hope you're well. One more day of work for me, then I'm on holidays. Nice. Yeah, let's get Russell some love in the chat for being a member for 8 months. Number 30 in floor hockey is goalie. Nice. I wore 14 actually. So my birthday is June 22nd, so that's 6/22. My anniversary is July 8th, so that's 7 and 8. And then our dating anniversary is 12 and 14. So I've worn 14 before as well. What's up, homies? You deserve the rest and relaxation, Shannon. Have those days for content, hydrate, and rest up. Can't remember what we were talking about, but that sounds great. That sounds great. Any plans on attending the World Cup festivities next summer downtown? Not sure. You know, when the Olympics were around, and World Cup and Olympics are both big, I was working downtown at Robson and Canby, so we were right in the middle of all the Olympic festivities. Now that I don't work downtown, I'm not sure if I'm going to venture downtown to go to those immediately. Yes, Justin, I was thinking about this. I do have Matthew Tkachuk in my keeper pool, and therefore I can start him on the IR. Yeah, Russell, we are having a great discussion on that. Well, you can see from the name of this show that the best Canucks decade, and I am torn between the 90s and the 2010s. There's a slight leaning towards the 2010s here, but as many people point out, maybe because that's the biggest age. You know, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put that as a poll question right now. I'm going to say, when were you born? And I'm going to say 60s or 70s. Then I'm going to say 80s. I don't know if there's no, I only have 4 options though. 90s. No, I'll do this. 2000 or later. This should be interesting. Everyone vote in the chat. I want everyone who's in here to vote in the poll on when were you born. That's an easy one. I wear 68, but not for Jagger. Nice. Best decade is the 2000s for Russell. Oh, interesting. Tell us why. Is it because of the good players? I just said there's not a lot of playoff success in those years, Russell. I get mad when letting in a goal. That's fair. You're going to do another vlog or video for Bruno like you did for BSB. Gerald, you're not allowed. It's one of those where they confiscate your phone, so you're not allowed to take any video footage inside. So probably not going to show anything because I'm not allowed to. I hope you feel better. Oh, that's what you're saying, to get some rest. That makes sense. Is that what you're saying, cats and rats? With the World Cup being a true international event, it can be fun just to walk around. That's true. Just as the Olympics were. That's a great point. That was the case during the Olympics. Very good. Very, very good. I wasn't always a Vancouver resident, so I cheered the OG Jets. That's fair. I was born in 98. Yeah, fine. You can consider yourself a 2000s kid, Rain, but you can't change the year you're born. If someone was pre-60s, then you vote that. Then I could have said earlier than 1980, but just vote in the earlier one. Clay gonna ban everyone pre-60. Well, then I'd have to ban my mom. Yeah, again, a technicality. I'm not asking what you consider yourself. I'm asking when were you born. That's black and white, I think. Rain, do you classify yourself as millennial or Gen Z? West Coast Express into the 2011 Cup run. Not a lot of playoff success, but a lot of icon. Yeah, side the 21. That's fair. That's fair. A geriatric millennial. Love it. Aging Gen Z. I'm gauging his audience. Well, I'm going to end it. If you didn't vote by now, that's your fault. So of the 22 you voted, even though there's 45 watching on YouTube, another 120 on X, 80s and 90s, 31%, 60s or 70s, 18%. That's what I would have voted. And then 2000 or later, 18%. Okay. It's quite even. Then I got to bat my mom. That doesn't sound right. I think she's watching. I talked to her earlier today. Even with Steve Moore incident, we're calling 2000s your favorite decade. That's fine. Moved in the late 90s and Dormmaster was so into Bure. Interesting. Dormmaster. Haven't heard that term in a long time. All right, friends, I'm going to wrap up here. Thank you for sticking with me, but I want to get a bit of rest before I go to my church in an hour. And members, if you're a Legend Hall of Fame or franchise member, I will be back at it 23 hours from now. We are going to do a members open house where I'm going to get you guys to do some of the talking for sure. Moderators, thank you for keeping this a safe and respectful place. Thanks to my members, legendary Lucas Gates, legendary Line Change, legendary Carol Bovenlander, legendary Brian Blingy Choi, and legendary Andrew Chang, and to Hall of Fame franchise members as well. Thanks to you for your support, and thanks to all of you for watching, liking, and subscribing. On your way out, like the video, subscribe, leave a late donation. Thanks to my sponsors, Vancity Experts Real Estate, Gas Jag Art, and Coach Patrick, the weight loss coach. And thanks to everyone who went above and beyond tonight. Some big donations tonight. We had Irvin wishing his lovely wife Jamie a happy birthday before the stream. Then we had Justin with 10, Skytrain Alfred with 20, Swervin Irvin with 20, and Russell using his monthly membership message. So thanks to all of you for your generosity. Add it all up, and the winner of tonight's fictional leaderboard is Swervin Irvin with 1650, Skytrain Alfred with 1125, and Fangirl with 900. There is your top three. All right, everyone. Yes, she was there last week, and she did say hi to me. Have a good rest. Thank you. Thank you. I will rest for a little bit, and really glad that you guys are all here. But before I go, Skytrain Alfred gifts a membership, so we got to give Skytrain Alfred some love in the chat. Isn't that amazing? Skytrain Alfred gifts a membership, and it goes to Gary M., who was asking at the start of the stream how to buy a membership. So Gary M., you do not even have to do that because you are a franchise member thanks to Skytrain Alfred. So Alfred, thank you very much for your generosity. Let's give him some late love in the chat. All right, friends, I'm going to go. Members live stream tomorrow night at 11 p.m. open house. I hope that you can join me then. In the meantime, stay safe, stay healthy, take care of yourselves, and take care of each other. You know, I recently went to see the doctor, and he said that my sugar was too high. Yes, my sugar was too high. So when I got home, I moved it to a lower shelf, and now it's much more accessible. God bless, and go Canucks go. Booyah.